take it down to get there. Everyone here knows they're right. There's no one who survives.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's another episode of What's the Word, and this time we're going international. We got a couple of guests joining us tonight from that country up north, Canada.
Yeah, some of the fellow Canucks we have here. We got John Hykel. Wave, John.
Hey. Canuck.
And-
What do you mean Canuck?
and
They're farther north.
and we have the infamous, the legendary Ryan.
Canada's back, bitches.
Sweet.
Well, guys, it's a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll continue this in the future, of course. But anyways, with that being said, so how's everybody week's been? Pretty good.
It's been like one long week of, repetition since March.
Get up,
This is true.
eat, sit, sleep,
Yeah.
repeat. Are you working
repeat.
from home? Are you
I
working
am,
from
yeah.
home? Okay.
Which is good. I mean, it's nice to be making money. So I can take that.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. How about
I
you?
feel like
Cool.
Me, I've been working since the end of June. I work in a pub, so cooking there, I can't really do that from home. So yeah, it's been busy. We've been pretty busy even with restrictions and everything that's going on.
All right.
Nice. It's always good. It's always good. You, Jay?
It's like you said, the same thing, and I've been working from home as well since March, but really just wake up, do the same thing, log off, do your thing. I mean, you can't really go out and do much, so
Yeah, and then
that's just how it is.
Yeah, not to mention we just today we got from our governor, we have a curfew starting at 10 p.m.
Yes,
starting Thursday.
because the Rona only attacks at night.
yeah.
So with that being said, we'll go ahead and we kind of mentioned before we got this started, we got some random questions for you, of course. So I got to ask, as Canadians, you probably get a lot of questions from fellow Americans. What is the most frequently asked question by fellow Americans?
That is a good question. That's the thing, because I'm always hanging around Americans. Most of my clients are Americans. So
Oh yeah.
I almost feel American.
There you go.
Well, technically, I guess you are, though. I mean, you're from
Yeah.
North America.
North
so-
America, sure.
Right.
But specifically from people from the United States? That's a good question. There are a lot of assumptions. I guess one of the, I know the one. Hey, you're from Canada. I know a guy in British Columbia in Vancouver. Do you know him? Here's his name. That's my favorite. That's probably the most quintessential. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Does it snow here all the time?
I mean, it does, though, right?
No. Today was the first time I saw a bit of snow that stayed
Oh, really?
on a vehicle. Yeah, and I haven't really seen any snow all.
It's
the last.
It's funny because that's actually one of our questions, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna ask you. So-
it's funny though too to piggyback on what you just said, Ryan. It was actually snowing this morning here in Ohio.
It was. Mm-hmm.
So maybe, but I have to say, does your money actually smell like syrup?
Yeah. It does.
It does? Is it like a scratch and sniff and just?
No.
It's the good
Or-
syrup, the good Quebec.
Oh, okay. I was
The,
Aunt Jemima,
not the
right?
Not the knockout. Yeah, the good syrup. But
Yeah.
I mean, I like me some good Jemima,
So really, how would you describe like the difference though? Because I mean, I can't really say that I've tried like authentic Canadian like maple syrup. Is there really a difference in taste? I mean, would you say?
I've found real Canadian maple syrup a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the Aunt
Because we're
Jemima.
nicer people, so it tastes.
Yeah.
It tastes nicer.
It translates into our food.
Yeah.
Like the Aunt Jemima stuff, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't have that right maple syrup flavor, sweetness to it.
It's like American beer, right? Like a Budweiser versus Guinness.
Yeah, or like a Keith's or
There you go.
I think it's technically pancake syrup, isn't it? Isn't real maple syrup.
No,
It's
that's
some-
not. Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
not maple syrup.
Yeah.
I never, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever really realized that before, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I don't really use or eat a lot of syrup. But one thing I totally forgot. One of our other Canadian buddies, Doug, he's actually a maple farmer, right?
yeah,
That's right.
He's
Yeah.
always
Oh,
bringing
really?
He
maple
makes all sorts of
sugar.
shit.
He's always bringing maple sugar candies to events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unpopular fact, I don't really like maple syrup, so I don't get the candies from him, and I just don't like it.
Well, that's fine because it's just more candy for me.
Yeah, exactly. Why
know.
waste it on me when we can spread the Canadian joy to everybody else?
There you
The
go.
Canadian love runs strong in you, Ryan.
Actually, I will say I have tried like it's a maple syrup with bourbon, like a
I had
blend.
that. Maple
That
jam.
was actually delicious. Yes.
Well, yeah,
That was
there's
good.
actually a sortilege, which is a maple whiskey, Canadian maple whiskey.
Oh,
It's really good.
I'm
Nice.
intrigued.
I am very. We gotta roll up to you guys sometime. Like
Yeah.
once this COVID's up, we'll take a road trip, play a.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
Oh,
I know. Again, we're keep name dropping Doug. I know he does like some sort of music festival up there as well.
Yeah, he
It's
does a
called
lot of
Hexcock.
60s.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did one this year as well.
Yeah, so I might say, hey, Doug, if you're listening.
Oh, man, you can come to Fort George for Camp Niagara
Oh, really? They do something up there too, like a music festival.
for First World War.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's true too.
At Fort George.
Oh,
Or you can
nice.
come to Toronto. You can go to clubs and we can hang out and listen to indie music and drink beer.
I
That
like
sounds
that
like a good
idea
time.
too.
I'd
You
be
just
down
got
for that.
You just got me on beer and hang out.
You had me a good time.
you had me at good time. Well, speaking of World War One, so I know Veterans Day just passed. I know we call it Veterans Day. You guys, I believe the Commonwealth calls it Remembrance Day, correct?
Correct.
So, what is, because I know a lot of, here in the United States, like a lot of people take Veterans Day for granted because they think it is like another day off or something, but they don't really understand the meaning. And I know, again, being with you guys in the PPCLI with World War One, World War One and Remembrance Day is a huge ordeal. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the significance or the importance of that?
Sure. You want to go, Ryan?
Oh no, John, you go first.
Okay.
Think it's fine.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd served in the Canadian Armed Forces as well in the reserves. So even as a kid, it was kind of a solemn day for us. So there's kind of been a history that there was something special about this particular day, and I've always been interested in Canadian military history and military history in general. So always kind of drilled a little deeper into it. But World War One had a big impact on Canada for a number of reasons because we were part of the Dominion, the British Empire, really at that point. So this was really a moment for us that we stood out as a nation, looking at a very high percentage of people who had served in the armed forces, considering we were a very small population. So it was really it was a nation building exercise for us. And after the war, we didn't really memorialize it. And I've been reading some books on this recently. The Americans got to it fairly quickly in terms of writing history right after the war. So a lot of their units were memorialized. We didn't do that until the 1920s.
Oh, wow.
Because there was this almost people wanted to separate themselves from the war. It wasn't glorious at the time. It was a point of recovery.
Like, yeah, I hear the term like returning back to normalcy, here
Right.
and but but go on.
So I found that interesting because we don't have that sense. When we figured they came back, the monuments went up immediately, but it took almost a decade for things to really solidify. The Vimy Memorial took a while. But it's a pretty solemn day for us because we're a smaller country, of course, but we've got an interesting military history and heritage. So I think it's just concentrated. It's not you live in a land of 330 million people. Heavy military, of course, high percentage, lots of spending. So it's always in the news. But for us, it's smaller. It's not as everyday. So this day is big for us.
Gotcha. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. And I know, but Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, for me, it's just always been the one day where I want to make sure I'm either off work, because in my profession, I don't really get, I can't, it's not a day off for us.
Yeah.
So it's the one day I try to take a day off. I go to the ceremonies, or if I'm not off, I make sure the morning I have off so I can take that moment of remembrance. This year alone, the night of the 10th, I closed at the pub. I got home, went to sleep at 1:45 in the morning. I woke up at 2 in the morning, drove 5 hours to Upper Canada Village, Chrysler's Farm, and for a Remembrance Day ceremony there.
Amazing.
And I laid the wreath down for representing the 49th British Grenadiers. Side fact, the Battle of Chrysler's Farm happened November 11th, 1813. So for me, that day in itself, it's not only First World War, Second World War, it's War of 1812 for me as well. Because I represent a unit who fought at that battle. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, and was highly, they were attacked by 150 U.S. Dragoons. The Dragoons, thinking the 49th were just militia, they were wearing great coats, so they looked like militia. They attacked, and the 49th set them packing.
And for those who don't know what a dragoon is, think of it like a badass cavalry guy. Like, you're going in hot and ready, you're jumping off that horse and just taking names. So that's essentially what a dragoon is. But go on.
Yeah. And the 49th Grenadiers, they pretty much sent all of them packing.
Damn.
Yeah. Heavy losses to the 49th, but that was one of their major last battles. So I really take that November 11th very seriously for First World War, War of 1812. They're important days for me, and I always try to make sure I'm there. Wherever city I am, I'm not always going to Chrysler's Farm. That was my first time, but I make sure I'm somewhere where I can remember properly.
Nice. Hey, that's
nice,
very honorable. But yeah, I mean, I've read several places that, especially World War One. I mean, War of 1812 as well is a pretty interesting, fascinating history. Maybe not so much the American side, because but we'll get to that here in a few. But with World War One, I mean, huge losses for Canada, especially at Passchendaele and things of that sort. Even though not a lot of there's not a lot of films as of recent, well, rather than besides recently, because there's not a lot of films out there who not only depicts World War One, but also depicts the Canadian forces. I mean, you could say 1917, but at the same time, that's more, I believe, British, not Commonwealth Canada or New Zealand or the Aussies or anything of that sort. So
Passchendaele.
Yeah, well, then the movie Passchendaele, but we all know that's making love in the trench,
Yeah, exactly.
Love in the mud.
Yeah.
Love in the mud, yes.
Love in the mud.
Yeah.
But
Canadians got some recognition.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the only one real thing I'll take from it.
Yeah.
So for
It
those
seemed like it had
listening-
a pretty good budget though.
For
The
a Canadian
film.
movie.
Yeah. I will say that.
Yep.
that what came out 2007 Passchendaele?
I am not sure. I could look that up real quick, but yeah, I'm sure it was not long ago. I mean, because like I said, the quality of the film and the production value, that was
Okay.
pretty decent.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
well
say. Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
John.
Yeah, it was well intentioned. I think the story that that Mr. Gross presented, seemed to be paying homage to a family member. So I thought it was going to be a little more, in line with, the history and not so much about
The romance.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not against romance, but it's
Well, for all those people who to complain and how great of a movie Pearl Harbor was, I mean, there is a lot of romance, so it's literally the same exact thing.
Yes.
So don't give Passchendaele a hard time because freaking Pearl Harbor. I mean, not saying I'm bashing Pearl Harbor by no means, but it's one of the same.
It wasn't as
Same
long as Pearl
romance.
Harbor either.
Which was better.
The one thing I say I will take away from this whole COVID experience, because there was a lot of Netflix and movie time, is that life is too short not to use the fast forward. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Just keep going to the good stuff.
Right. See the good stuff. Exactly.
And speaking
that's
about
too funny.
The Rona, so how are you guys, like, as a country, handling this whole situation compared to our dumpster fire?
Well, we were pretty smug at the beginning, I have to say, but now we're sitting in our diaper right now with a pant load.
Oh,
Yeah.
In Ontario, anyway, we were pretty smug. But what do you think, Ryan?
We were doing well, and then we just, like, once we started reopening stuff, we just tanked hard. Like, other provinces have already been on lockdown earlier.
but so
Like, we're not, Ontario's not on a lockdown yet, but it may happen again.
what's like the general sentiment though? Are you getting a lot of pushback? Because I know here, especially like here in Ohio, we have a lot of anti-mask, refuting the science behind what's going on and denying things.
Well,
Do you see that over there?
from the pub standpoint, we get grumblers. We get people that don't really want to wear the masks to sit inside or like to even go inside. And I know people who are like always complaining about wearing it. Like, just wear it.
Right. I think
I stand in the kitchen for between 4-8 hours wearing it the entire shift, only taking it off to have a drink of water. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No, it's like putting your seatbelt on,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I did a march recently, 22 kilometers, so I think that's like
About like 15 miles ish.
15-mile march, and I wore a mask the entire time. I was in full kit too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Some people don't want to do it.
Well, if you're aware, it's kind of a big deal over here. So
We know.
It's a head scratch.
We do watch.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all as a country are handling as best as you can. Well, better than we've been handling. I think it's kind of been up to the states mostly. I feel like we haven't really had much of a. And we kind of talked about this, Trent, even before this even developed into a thing. Because I remember when this was happening, like in Europe, and then like as it was spreading from Wuhan, and like I was like, this is gonna be. I wonder, are we taking this serious or not? Because like we haven't heard anything in the news here. Whereas if you look on international news outlets, they're talking about it like, hey, this is something that's big that's coming. And the media here, it wasn't as, you didn't hear about it. and it was just very odd getting like that kind of those two different.
Yeah, I think when it started to really start, when we were talking about this is when Italy was under their lockdown, and I think like just a handful of people tested positive in Washington. And I remember we were doing that podcast and we were talking right back, just what is our video game plans, like what are we planning on doing,
what are we gonna do as like, or what are we doing as a country to prepare for this, because we didn't have any like direction, it felt like. And then when it did finally come here, then there was mixed messages from like the federal standpoint, but then it ultimately came down to the states to like kind of handle it themselves.
One thing that I have noticed that it seems like federally, state level, they keep passing the responsibility on.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I know when it first started, we were having it was our first annual whiskey tasting. So we, together with a bunch of friends and wives, and sitting around at a buddy's house with, I don't know, about 10 whiskey bottles that we were going to start sampling. And one of the participants was the VP at one of the hospitals, one of the big hospitals in Toronto. And she said, "Oh shit, we just got our first COVID patient." And that was in January. So that's when it really sunk home to us. And then it's like, oh man, maybe this is a thing. And I just started picking up steam from there. So.
See, the last reenactment that I did, like official reenactment I did, was an 1812 event in Ogdensburg, New York. And it was the last weekend of February.
Right.
So kind of just before it was really kind of starting to, less than 3 weeks before lockdown started happening. Like, I think it was on the 13th, March 13th was my last day at work before isolation for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So I was cutting it close, like being in the States and also just interacting very closely with a lot of people. Shoulder to
I almost went to, I was going to go to Detroit that weekend just before it shut down because we got friends living at Dearborn. So we had a big weekend planned in Detroit. So I was going to, but pulled the plug on that at the last minute. It just didn't smell right. So we.
Probably good call on your.
Good call.
That was probably one of the most depressing parts for reenacting standpoint is just seeing all the dates that we've had just canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Canceled. Like we're still holding out. No, canceled. Oh. It was that was.
I mean, even with Jay and I with the band Henotis.
Oh yeah, like
we had so many things like planned. We had like a little mini tour scheduled. We had like our EP release stuff, and then it just went dumpster fire. And then then we decided to do some podcasting instead. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I've done so many Zoom calls since this started too. Like I went and actually got a webcam for it because I was using my phone beforehand, and it's just like, I need a webcam for this. Since then,
I need a better camera.
I've got a ring light now. It's like
nice.
That's for the TikToks, but I'm using it.
Gotcha.
You're never going to leave the house again?
Oh, I don't want to leave that.
With doing all your Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was enjoying that temporary early retirement. I'll be okay for retiring. As long as I can do the TikTok stuff.
And if you guys don't know, Ryan here is a TikToker, but we'll actually get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I was going to say, so my next question was, does it always snow up in Canada? But you already answered that. But I got another thing. So I know a lot of this is a big deal in Canada.
Roots or beavers?
Oh yeah, roots.
Roots, and some David's tea.
Yeah.
But my main question for you, we have a lot of these here in Columbus, and I think they're starting to get more big and prevalent in Ohio. Tim Hortons.
Yep.
What's your guys' thought of the beloved Tim Hortons?
No.
Not for me anyway.
I can take it or leave it. I'll always eat their donuts. I know how they're made now, but I'm like, I'll always eat their donuts.
What do you mean? Wait. What do you mean how
Well,
they're made now?
Well, as far as I know, they come in frozen. They just thaw them, bake
Oh, I
them.
didn't know that.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay.
that.
Before they were used to be a little more.
You said that like there was like this bad thing like
They were
that you found out. Like, oh, they just
No, it's just they're not like fresh.
They were
I was-
extruded out of some kind of.
Yeah.
I was going to say something in the fact of, well, you know, the name Tim Hortons is what? He was a Buffalo hockey player, right? Like the Buffalo Bills. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
No, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, it's Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay.
Yeah.
And the story goes like what? That the story goes that he was crossing the border like from Buffalo, going across the border, going back to Toronto, right? And he got in an accident and, you know, just didn't fare well. And then all of a sudden you get these things called Timbits.
Timbits.
Timbits,
that's-
though. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking what you're talking about, Ryan, like how they're made. So are they
No,
really
no,
Tim Horton bits?
No. Those are just the donut holes, as I've heard other countries call them.
Yeah. We just call them
That's what they
Timbits.
call me. No, we call them donut holes here.
Yeah.
Oh, I just call them
that's what I
Timbits,
meant,
actually.
Yeah. They're,
Well, that's from Tim Hortons, though.
Oh,
Timbits.
gotcha. Okay, I follow now. I follow now.
Small round donut things. I just call them Timbits.
They're Timbits.
No matter where they're from.
So here's a good question for you. We actually pulled this up of questions like myths of Canada because apparently Canada is so exotic to us Americans apparently. But will Canada or is Canada the 51st state of the United States?
Alberta might be.
Would you like to be the 51st state?
I don't think so.
I don't blame you.
Good call. I'll drink to that one.
Would you guys like to be a province?
What would we have to complain about? Jeez. We like to complain about stuff. It's
You
too
know,
snowy, it's
Nice.
too hot, it's too this.
your money tastes like maple syrup.
Yeah.
Go
And your money just smells like money.
Yeah. Probably just smells like poop.
Well, depends. Yeah.
It depends. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah.
I would not recommend smelling the money.
All the money.
People to smell ours. It's funny.
And so another good question: what, as Americans, what would probably be? I mean, I probably already know your answer, but what would be the coolest city to visit? If as a vacationer, where should we go as Americans, and why is it Toronto?
I was going to say Montreal.
Montreal? Oh, do
Yeah.
tell.
I was going to say Montreal. Toronto is fun, but it's a bit of a workout.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of
Oh,
like
really?
I mean, it's kind of fun like New York's fun.
Yeah.
Montreal's fun like New Orleans is fun.
Oh, okay.
Not as fun as New Orleans because I mean New Orleans is New Orleans, but probably it's more, it's looser. It's got a great
Nice.
vibe. Yeah.
I mean, you got that French Quebec, you know. You gotta love that too, you know.
Yeah, it's a good mix of French and English. Quebec City's fun too. Halifax is great.
I was gonna say anywhere out east
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
is really nice.
How about Newfoundland?
Oh man, St. John's. Yeah, that's a good place to go to. It's a tough choice. Yeah.
Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
Halifax, Nova Scotia's great.
Just go to Canada and just explore.
Yeah.
Like start at one end and 3 months later you'll be at the other end.
You got to go
that's
across
too
the border
funny.
to get up though. That's the problem because our gas ain't cheap.
That's true.
we gotta
That's
get
true.
past this pandemic first.
Yep.
Yeah.
It also depends if you're taking Americans at that point still.
Yeah, right.
You're like,
I'll take it for you.
all right. So for this next segment, we usually do what's called like a lightning round, where we tell you two things and you choose one of them.
Okay.
All right. So we'll go ahead and start this off. Poutine or maple syrup?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Canadian bacon or American bacon?
Canadian bacon.
Canadian.
Oh.
Biscuit or cookie?
Cookie.
I'm gonna go biscuit.
Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny?
Oh man, that's
Trailer Park.
that's like trying to figure out the difference between Elvis and the Clash. You know, it's like
Oh,
they're period pieces.
oof.
I haven't seen Letterkenny.
Really? You haven't?
Oh,
Letterkenny's amazing. Pitter patter.
Yeah. There's no words.
Oh,
Yeah, Kids in the Hall. I think
Kids in the
I
Hall,
just
yeah.
saw something pop up. Kids in the Hall. Yeah, that was classic Canadian comedy. That started the whole thing, I think. But between the two, I got to go. I'll go Trailer Park. Is that they started it?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
eight.
But that's East Coast, and like Letterkenny's Ontario, and Trailer Park is East Coast. So
This next one's
Yeah.
random. Cuddles or maple syrup?
Cuddles.
well,
Cuddles in maple syrup.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Got a point there. Yeah.
Beer or maple syrup?
oh, beer. Good
Beer.
God.
Maple syrup or maple syrup?
Mm,
Neither.
yeah, let's go maple
Neither.
syrup.
No. All right, moving on. Trent, you want to go ahead and introduce the topics of discussion?
Yes. So that was very insightful, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And so we just the other day, 4 astronauts are headed into space in the space station with SpaceX crew of the Dragon capsule. What's your thoughts on that? I think it's really cool.
I
Like
watched it.
I did too. It was
I
really
watched-
cool.
too.
I watched the docking. It was awesome. I'm very excited that SpaceX has actually started this so they can get the astronauts up there faster and return faster. Like, it's the more reusableness of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
love
pretty much.
watching like the Falcon rockets land back down onto the ground or onto the water, whatever it's called. I love watching. It's so perfect.
It's like majestic, you know?
Yeah, just like boop.
That control panel freaked me out.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, it was amazing. Even the spacesuits, that was pretty. That was like 2001. It's like, wow.
yeah.
That does
You
look
see,
pretty sweet.
Back
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
thing.
looking at it right now.
That's the thing. I actually don't like the space outfits. I think they look tacky. I
thought
really
so
do.
No,
immediately.
I agree with you, John, because I'm a fan of the 2001 Space Odyssey, and this, yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I didn't like them at the beginning, but when I saw them in action, I thought, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I really get this.
I don't know.
I'm glad North America is sending people back up again. We're not relying on like another country to send them up. I say country, like it's really the states sending them up again. But
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a conspiracy theory show, so I'm not going to veer off into, was that?
yeah.
There you
That
go.
was exciting, man. That was.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that nervous for ages. It was funny because
Really?
Because the last time I watched, I saw the shuttle. It was to Mexico. A buddy of mine was getting married, and that horrible disaster. That's the last time I saw space.
Wow.
So I was like, holy shit, here we go.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
8.5 seconds of terror. That's what I remember one commentator saying. It's like,
yeah. When Bob and Doug went back up, I was so happy. Like I think I even shed a tear when they actually got up there. It's like good. We're back.
yeah.
I had that same feeling. It's like honestly with the space program going on, it's like the only real positive thing that we have to look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
the exploration and like what you guys just said, like getting boots back up in space instead of going to Russia,
Russia.
watching it for us,
Yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. And what another interesting thing that I've been like following, especially with this whole astronaut space stuff, is like the mission to Mars. And like I can't remember what the spaceship Elon Musk is calling for that. It's called like Star something. I can't remember.
Can't remember.
But it looks really cool.
Yep.
I keep looking up like
Starlink.
Yes, and just the whole idea with that. And what we're going back to the moon here in like 10 years or so, I believe.
Yeah, there's going to be a first female to walk on the moon too.
Oh, nice.
I think she's part of like I forget who it is, but she's part of the first moon like the next moon landing. So we can.
That's nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, good step forward.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's. Do you think they're still going to use Elon Musk's design, or do you think they're going to have another complete different thing?
I think NASA is actually working on something right now. They've been working on something for it.
Is that the Orion project?
I think so, yeah. The one thing I've always liked about the space program, it's just there's no politics, there's no country. It's just everybody working together.
Yep, absolutely.
Working together. And that's the one thing I've always liked about space programs from any country, whatever. It's inclusive. It brings everybody.
I'm gonna be that guy, but why do we have to go to space to be nice to each other?
I mean, you got a point.
You got a point.
More confined space.
Here we are on this planet that doesn't exist anywhere else. We can breathe the oxygen, drink the water, but man, oh man, all that. I love space exploration, but it'd be great if we could use the same initiative to look after us here. Just drives me nuts.
Oh
no, I agree.
No, absolutely.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess when you're living in a submarine in like many miles up in space, you kind of have to get along.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
You don't really have many options when you're up there. So,
put the bean burrito down. Do not eat.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
burrito.
Make smart choices.
Farting in space. What is that?
Speaking,
that's a good question. I don't know. And then you would have to like suffer yourself in that suit.
Oh yeah. Well, I would imagine they would have like purifiers within the suit.
Well, actually,
like you have oxygen, right?
Air circulating, yeah.
And in 0G, would you have to grab onto something to be able to?
Oh
crank
yeah.
one?
I think they've.
There's some physics involved here.
New adjustments to washroom facilities on the space station.
Grab bars.
Physics.
Yeah.
The physics behind flatulation.
Grab-
Flatulence.
Grab the bar, use some duct tape, and use the little sucky motion, right?
What?
Never mind. Just Google it. Just Google it.
All right. So the next topic of discussion, this one's another headline that I got from, say, this BBC News. Trudeau and Macron speak after a cartoon remark controversy. Do you guys know anything about this?
Nope.
Is it like today?
This one's from this is from November 6th. So apparently.
Oh man, that's probably the images of Muhammad, cartoon images of Muhammad.
Yeah. So
people.
That's exactly what that's about.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now.
Was that blasted on like Canadian news?
It was, yeah. It took place in France. There was I think a teacher who was beheaded.
Yeah.
Killed.
Killed
as a result.
Yeah.
She posed the question about talking about is it right or is it wrong, and I guess she showed the image in class, and somebody took offense and killed her. But there were a couple of spin-off killings as a result, as well in Europe.
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
No.
I may have seen like a tweet or something, and I just didn't really pay attention. to it. Oops.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
There's a lot
there
going
is.
on.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot going on today.
it's 2020.
Nowadays.
Like, just keep scrolling.
Yeah, and here's another one. Apparently, there was voter fraud ruffles New Zealand quote bird of the year competition.
What?
Tell us a little bit about that, Trent.
So yes, I'm just pulling that up here right now. So the little spotted kiwi soared in the ranking before the election. Organizers discovered that. Second here, it just popped up. Sorry, but yeah, apparently, like the bird of the year competition after a case of ballot box stuffing has threatened the democracy, the avian democracy. Democracy.
Wow.
Apparently, they received more than 1,500 votes sent from the same email address early Monday, and each vote was in favor of the little spotted kiwi.
Oh.
So I'm
The
assuming
Russians are at it again, Trent.
What was the runner-up?
I don't know. What was it?
I don't know, but that bird should contest.
Is this like I'm assuming this is another like Harambe type of ordeal.
Oh God.
It was rigged.
I hear you. But it is an amazing bird and it deserves all the support. That's all that I'll have to say. I mean, it's just like that. What, the Great Emu War of Australia?
That was
Wait. This is a real. Yeah, that's a real thing. The Great Emu War.
Yeah, it was like what, 1932 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
the emus versus the Tasmanian devils. The emus won, obviously.
Well, the legend.
They got the speed.
Well, the emu, it was like overpopulation of emu, and the Australian government came in to like just get rid of them. But the funny thing is that they didn't have a lot of support, so the emu won the war.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happened.
Nice.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh my God.
Well, this one actually, we just this is a recent development. So, if you've been following what's going on here, we're kind of in a tizzy in regards to transition of power between two administrations, and the current president is kind of going through some changes as far as key positions that people are in. He actually just ousted the Homeland Security cyber chief Chris Krebs, who called the election secure. A tweet that was recent. Wow. So this is the dude that said that the election was secure. He tweeted, and if I remember correctly in the tweet, mentioned how that was incorrect because apparently dead people are voting in the election, and it was false. But what I just love is with every tweet, Twitter automatically has like that disclaimer at the bottom of each tweet.
Yeah. I've noticed each tweet that he puts out about the election, they have a disclaimer.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing's confirmed.
He could probably type a complete non sequitur or just random letters.
I kid you not.
Election in there. Yeah.
I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. He went and he tweeted a couple of times saying that he won the election. Like, I won the election. And then the next one was all in caps, I won the election. And then right underneath it, and I think this is on Facebook actually, Facebook, like the disclaimer said, Joe Biden was declared the president-elect, projected winner at the bottom of each of those. And I had to screenshot that. But yeah. I'm
looking at like everything about the election is like, this claim about election fraud is disputed. This claim about election fraud.
So what are your thoughts? You know, from the outside looking in, you could be honest.
You know, man, I mean, I've got some pretty strong opinions, but I want you guys to be well. I mean, going to the States used to be fun. Now it's crazy.
Hey, it's crazy. I agree with you.
Like it's hard to have
Yeah.
conversations. I mean, like real conversations, because you're not sure if you're going to veer off a little way or if you're a little too socialist or you're a little too this. It's funny because it can flip on a dime, but or turn on a dime. So
And that's the thing that like drives me insane. Like the term socialist, like most of these, not to picking sides, but for the same people who argue about socialism, they really do enjoy the social security benefits. They enjoy the fire department who's taxed by the American people. They, not to mention the American car industry was what, bailed out by the federal government, and that's a social program.
the banks.
Exactly. So I don't understand this hiccup, and I think unfortunately the American culture is at war with one another, and it's not about facts, it's about who has the loudest mouth.
Right.
That's exactly
Feels
right.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's where we're at this point.
And
Because our most rabid conservative in Canada would probably be deemed a socialist in the U.S.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Because we all start from. I mean, the premise is we all start. Everybody should basically be treated equally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's always a work in progress. You know, based on racial inequality and caste structures and all those types of things. But at the end of the day, it really is. We should all just be. Everybody should be healthy. Should hopefully have access to some form of social assistance. If they don't have it, let's bring everybody up and everybody gets better versus, you stay down, they go up, just hopefully everybody rises equally.
mhm.
So it makes it a little easier to have real arguments in Canada sometimes because you start with a sense of equality versus,
Mm-hmm.
and even religion doesn't really come into it a lot, I have to say. I mean, using the R word, which is, that can be an exciting, oh my God. Because that really doesn't come into play even in terms of it's starting to a little bit in certain issues, but it really doesn't come to play as much in our politics, I don't think, overtly
Certainly.
anyway.
I guess it's the difference between being civil and versus being fascist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I feel like as of late, it's, at least on our end, the religion aspect, I feel like has been fueling a vast majority of I mean, wouldn't you say, Trent, like policy? I feel like there's a lot of that push regarding that, and that's kind of considering how we're supposed to have like a separation of church and state, but clearly,
yeah. One thing that I know we've talked about many times, that like just going back to like the Trump text and Trump arguments and stuff like that like all these people are like thinking that Trump is some deity. Like that just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's interesting because I feel like, and this was before this administration even came into play. We started seeing this back during the Tea Party movement, the Obama years, and they were a fringe at the time. We're like, okay, wow, we hope these people don't, assume control, and then and here they are, and now that they feel like they are represented on a grand scale, it's going to be very difficult to try and kind of move things back to a sense of normalcy.
Right.
And that's where we're kind of in a difficult position now, that I feel I don't envy President-elect Biden
No, not
on
at all.
his
Not at all.
task to try and
I
unite
mean,
this country.
I think from what I've been watching and following, he's doing his part. Like, it's not Democrat, it's not Republican, we're Americans. And like, we're going to work together. That's how we're going to move forward, togetherness. But it's sometimes it's like talking to a brick wall.
It feels at times that we're just so divided that I feel like I don't even know how he's going to be able to do it.
First year will be just cleanup.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Oh well, his first year alone will be just cleanup.
Well, that's what I imagine. Like I feel like the policy, or I guess there wouldn't be much initially with the administration. It's really just going to be damage control.
Yeah.
essentially.
That's why, like, the conceding needs to happen so the transition can work easy.
Yeah.
By this time, like the last presidential election, by this time, Obama and Trump's administrations were already going through the transition period.
Yeah. We're talking about two completely different administrations, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I honestly don't think that we will see that. I think the closest thing that we'll see to a concession was that one tweet that he tweeted that said, you know, Biden won because it was rigged, and then he went into the whole spiel about that. But I think that's the closest thing that we'll get.
And I also have to add, and it's sad too, because for me to say being fascist earlier, when people listen to this podcast, are going to be like, "Oh, Trent, he must be that crazy socialist." So it's like I'm going to unfriend him. Like I just don't, I just don't understand that concept. Like we used to be like okay to disagree, but people are taking it way too personally.
Yeah.
And like going back to like what we were saying before, like with Biden, like you understand like this whole term is going to be full of just court issues. It's going to be like Nixon and Ford all over again. And what I mean by that is that when Ford was elected president, he pardoned Nixon because he knew that his administration, his 4 years, were going to be consumed by courts and legal stuff of what happened with Nixon. And that is going to happen, I guarantee, is going to happen with Biden. Because I mean, Biden's not going to pardon him. And you know for damn sure that he's going to, like, Trump is going to try to pardon himself, or he's going to make Mike Pence do it, allegedly. I really don't know. But if he does that, that just admits guilt, people. Like,
Yeah.
He'll try. I don't think it's. I was watching a couple of news stories last night, and I don't think he can pull it off mechanically.
I don't know. I mean, we say that, but he's managed to do some crazy stuff in our American politics. So
he's kind of writing a new playbook. Hey, did you guys read that book by Michael Lewis called The Fifth Risk?
Mm-mm.
Michael Lewis wrote The Big Short, and it was the transition between Obama's government and Trump. So the Obama administration had this whole playbook set up to have a regulated, lawful transition of power. And there's some pretty big departments, and you're looking at the Department of Energy. It's the Department of Energy that looks after atomic power and the arsenal in the States.
You obviously, as the 51st state, you know more than I do.
But nobody showed up from the Trump administration.
Oh, that's funny.
People just weren't showing up. Like Department of Agriculture, no one shows up.
And that's sad.
So my worry is there's not going to be a playbook for Biden. Like, okay, we got a plan. What's the plan? A bunch of drawer full of cocktail napkins?
You're right. The reason why they're not trying to, the whole thing, in my theory, because as soon as the election was over, we saw like that Penske moving truck, like at the White House. Like what was all that about? I think it was them trying to start filing the paperwork of all the BS, and they're trying to hide it. I mean, I can't admit that. I don't know if that's true, but it's very fishy. But to be honest with you, it's probably just Melania like buying a whole other table or something like that to put into like the JFK room or something.
I love the memes that came from that. Like, should someone tell them that he has until January 21st until his lease is up, or he doesn't have to move out now? I mean, come on, dude.
You don't own the furniture, buddy. It stays there.
It's okay.
Yours. Count the silverware.
Yeah.
Isn't he already like telling the finance department or whatever to like go forward with their like finance?
Yeah, they are planning to get the budget ready for a second term. So like it's very. We're living in historic times right now.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. We've never had this happen before in our history, right, Trent? I mean,
it's
like two different realities going on right now. One side is like set that something's going to happen. The other side, and it feels like everyone else is like,
I
what is going on here?
I will give you two examples of this similar cases of this happening in American history. Is when John Adams lost his re-election to Thomas Jefferson. He didn't show up to the inauguration. He just left. So when Thomas Jefferson went to the White House, it was empty. So that was the first case of this, but he still conceded, you know.
Sure.
The second time so happens to be also with John Quincy Adams, who is the son of John Adams. There was a huge, at that time, in the early 1800s, at that time, like the presidential race against Adams and Jackson were like as furious. Like they're talking about marital status issues that Andrew Jackson was, you know, cheated on, like his wife was married to somebody else. So there was a lot of issues going on with that. And when John Quincy Adams won that presidency, the whole 4 years of his administration was from Andrew Jackson just saying this is a rigged election, yada yada yada, and it's almost uncanny to like what's going on right now.
Doesn't Trump
And
really like Jackson?
yeah, he also really likes Jackson too. and like, you know, with that's going on, but those are the only two times. But when Andrew Jackson did win after Andrew I'm sorry, I'm getting all confused here. When John Quincy Adams lost the following election to Andrew Jackson, like his father John Adams, he also just walked and he didn't like go to the inaugural either. So those are the only two things in American history that's very, very similar.
It's funny as well, because you look at the stakes. So you look at the time that happened and look what America has become. And the stakes are so much higher, but you still get this kind of petty, childish, mad behavior, which is really frightening. You know, nuclear weapons, the largest, one of the most capable military in the world.
Yeah.
You know, incredible buying power, financial supremacy, all sorts of amazing things. And you've got this guy. It's like, what?
Yeah. All I can say is that the American people, you know, saw through that, and Trumpism hopefully is done. Hopefully. But you know, history is in the books right now. But to make it on the lighter note, apparently a 20-foot tall dinosaur balloon sculpture breaks Guinness records.
20 foot?
Yes. 25-foot tall dinosaur.
It seems small.
I thought, yeah. I mean, you would have imagined that would have already been broken.
Yeah,
by now.
You look at the size of the Hindenburg. You know, that was pretty damn big.
But we also know what happened to the Hindenburg too, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of
like Spielberg or something, or
yeah.
Oh, this happened in Turkey. Yeah, so this was the Guinness World Record in Turkey. Well, the person, or I guess the team of artists, they built this in Turkey. So, but yeah,
that's interesting. But that pretty much almost wraps this up. But one thing that I would like to point out, is there anything, John, that you would like to point out, something about yourself, or anything that you're going to be coming new that you'd like to promote or to tell our audience?
Wow, on the spot. Yeah, Trent, I got nothing.
This is plug time.
I got nothing. Do you guys sell T-shirts? That's one thing I want. I'm gonna plug your band.
Oh, thanks. Well, we actually do have T-shirts. They're actually at our practice spot, and you know, Hykel, you've been following us pretty big, right? You've been looking forward to our new music coming out, right?
Yep, absolutely.
But actually, as a music lover yourself, any bands that our listeners should check out?
I'm going to say Rainwolf out of Canada.
Rainwolf.
Anybody listen to Rainwolf?
You actually told me to listen to them on one of the emails for you back, and yeah, they're awesome.
Yep, they're very good. What else is going on? Man of Moon, I like. They're out of Scotland. They're pretty cool.
Okay.
A
Man of
two-piece.
Moon.
Man of Moon, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Oh, Shattered Ankles.
Shattered Ankles.
Yeah.
Are they like metal or are they rock or?
Sounds like a metal band.
Man, it's you got to listen to it.
Yeah.
Pulling up right now.
Will
So
do.
they're a London-based post-punk band.
Oh,
Right.
post-punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure if that does them justice, but yeah, they're fun.
I imagine
Nice.
it's fast.
Nice. And the
Fast
man,
and
the
hard.
myth, the man, the myth, the legend over here. Ryan, anything you like to plug in? Let us know.
Talking about music, Sabaton. It's like a heavy metal band from Sweden. They do a lot of First World War related songs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. What was that band again?
Sabaton.
Sabaton.
Sabaton. Yeah.
Sabaton.
Yeah,
Okay.
they talk about some Canadians, like the Canadian sniper as well. The native Canadian sniper, the top sniper. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, they're pretty cool. But my plug, TikTok.
TikTok, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, be sure to check out TikTok.
Yeah,
Yeah,
TikTok. Yeah. Where would we find you at?
The username is SJTCLARK, Sergeant Clark. The J, not a G. The original spelling. Yeah, I do a lot of TikToks there. I got just over almost 1,000 followers now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been following your TikToks. They're really impressive. You looks like you put a lot of
46.
damn. But yeah, the latest one that I just cracked up laughing every time I watch it is you in your uniform as a sergeant.
Oh,
like,
with me swearing?
oh man, that's so funny.
The audio, yeah. If only you could bring it up.
Yeah, we actually may in post edit this. We may pull up one of your TikToks, put it on here for you.
All right. Oh god.
Oh, he's doing it now.
He's doing it. Here we go.
Yes.
Enjoy it. Everyone.
No, bitch, shit, no! Damn it! Fucking God! Fuck! Stupid! God damn it! Come on, man! Fucking God! Fuck! No! What? God, no! Fucking God! Whatever!
Oh.
No! No! Ah! What the fuck? For fuck's sake! Fucking come on! No! Don't fucking jump at me, you piece of shit! I'll fucking stab your parents!
I think I peaked on that one.
No kidding. Whoa.
That one took me a while to make, but I had
That's
so much
intense.
fun doing that one. That's I think I captioned it as Sergeant trying to keep his men straight or something like that. What was it? A typical day for Sergeant Clark.
Any complaints from the neighbors or any like people outside?
I was gonna ask.
No, well, I live with people and I haven't had any complaints yet. They just shake their head at me, but for the most part, like I don't do much yelling or talk. I don't think I've talked on any of my TikToks. Maybe 3 of them. Maybe it's mainly I use the audios that are on there, so it's a lot of silent work from my end.
So I've been interested in this because I know Trent, you have a TikTok as well, and I know that's kind of like a big thing now. I haven't created one yet, but so is it kind of like essentially what Vines were?
Yeah.
Do you remember Vine?
Yeah, like it's the successor to Vine.
Okay, all right.
You'll find a lot of Vine creator, like people who made it big on Vine on TikTok.
They're on TikTok. Okay.
Up to like a minute to tell your story or whatever. And yeah, that's all it is. It's just a minute's worth of your time. But eventually it becomes like 3, 4, 5 hours of your time just scrolling through. But yeah, that's all it is. And people make money off this. Like, not me, but like people are getting sponsored by like big companies. They're making their living full time off of it.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, And it's just like a minute long videos.
That's
I
nice.
love doing it. It got me through the isolation too.
It's your TikToks also has got me through some of the
There you
COVID as
go.
well, because I just keep
So
scrolling.
thank you.
Thank
So
you.
thank
Public
you.
service.
Thank you.
But that's pretty much it, gentlemen. It's a wrap, and I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I think you guys again are more than welcome to come back to our platform, the ZTO TV platform. Just shoot some shit, drink some beer, and have a good time.
Cheers.
That's great. Well, appreciate it.
Thank
man.
you.
Great.
Cheers.
Good to meet you, Jay.
Cheers.
Good meeting you too. Thanks, you guys.
And
cheers.
and lastly,
Cheers.
cheers. And
Is that a port, Ryan?
Yes, it is a port.
Nice, nice.
I've got a port. I've got
The
Jameson,
whiskey.
and I've got a Guinness.
Oh, very good.
I've been
He's
rotating.
partying. There you
It'll
go.
be a drinking game for everybody watching this later.
Get the
There you
that's
go.
awesome. But I will. One of the last things that I will say before this recording ends, that not one A was even stated at all.
True.
Oh,
Yeah.
True.
John, hey, we really got to get on that, eh?
Jesus, yeah, I'm hanging for a smoke.
Gee. Dude, we're
So
back
sort-
Canadians, eh?
I only say A when I'm north of Barrie, which is a town about an hour north of Toronto. That's where the A kicks in.
I
Oh,
always
that's funny.
say eh when I'm south of the border,
Oh, that's true too. Yeah,
just to keep up the stereotype,
yeah, you're right.
Oh,
You Canadian AF.
I will say one last statement to close this out. Another one of our Canadian friends, Jeff Kimber, couldn't be on tonight, but a little funny story about him. He lives in Ottawa, and the first time that I met him, he was like, I hear a lot of people saying, I don't have an accent. I sound more from the United States, eh? And then our buddy Russian Dave's like, dude, you said like 1,500 A's in like 10 minutes. And Jeff was like, A. But with that being said, you stay you, Canada.
Thank you. Bitter powder.
All right. Sweet.
Only one chick you